Hello, everybody. Welcome to the saddest thing that we have ever recorded on Uppercut. I don't know if that's true. It is true.
I think it is.
Okay. Oh no.
It's
like
sad.
as far as recordings go, I think so.
Yeah. So this is the final season of Clone Wars that we're going to be talking about. It's just big sad hours. It's not only is it like the ending of the series that a lot of people watched as kids. I didn't, but like, it's a childhood thing, but also just like a great fucking series that deserved ending and closure. And if you're like me and Revenge of the Sith is your favorite movie, it's just great. It just ties in really well. They did a great job with it. There is there's only 3 arcs, right?
Yeah.
There's only 3 arcs. The way that they did the arcs is kind of weird because the first arc technically takes place after the second arc. And the second arc with Ahsoka takes place directly after all the shit with Yoda last season. Like, I don't know why they did that. They could have easily just put them all in fucking order, but they didn't.
This fucking show.
The show. There's 12 episodes in this season, but we will get started with the Bad Batch. So I was just telling y'all, I don't really remember the Bad Batch too much. I remember the main thing is it's about Echo. Echo died long ago, so we thought, quote unquote, but he may still be alive. Does anybody want to take over and explain the arc? Or
Chloe, do you want me to, or do you want to do it?
I think you had a better grasp of everything.
Oh, okay. So I don't remember what they get like a weird, what is it? Oh, they figure out that like the Separatists have been just like fucking wrecking the Republic, and there's gotta be like they've been studying the clones or something. Like there's some way they know how to predict what we're gonna do. So they decide to like go on this secret mission to this Separatist communication center to like fuck up the algorithm that they think they have. And then I don't remember how they do it, but they get a recording that is from Echo, like giving orders and like talking about strategy. And so Rex is like, that's fucking Echo, he's alive. And everyone keeps kind of pushing the whole like, oh, you're too attached, like you're letting your feelings get in the way, he's probably dead, whatever. And so then he gets sent with this group of clones called the Bad Batch, who all have like desirable mutations. So one of them is like super huge and strong, and there's another one who's like a dope sniper, and they all kind of look different and sound a little bit different. Oh yeah, one of them can literally just like feel vibes. Like there's
a human vibe check.
Yeah, they're literally like this. The sniper guy's like, oh yeah, and this dude, I can't remember his fucking name. He's like, he's like a great tracker. He can sense the electromagnetic pulses of things, and I'm like,
the fuck?
What?
Yeah,
but anyway, so they go and they like bond with Rex, and it's cute or whatever, and they like break into this facility, and they find out that Echo is very much alive and connected to like a scary experimental brain broadcasting system, essentially. But they get him back, and he's got all these like implants, and he can like, if he does the R2D2 like plug into a computer thingy, he can send orders to the Separatist troops, and he does that, and people are kind of skeptical of him at first because they don't know like if he's gonna be loyal still, and then he is. And so then the whole thing kind of ends with him realizing, like the Bad Batch guys are like, hey, like, you could come hang out with us. Like, it seems like you would fit in. And Rex basically tells Echo, like, if that's what you want to do, like, go for it, my dude. And so then he does that, and that's the end.
Do y'all think that the Bad Batch are affected by Order 66?
Ooh.
Probably, because they would have those
soon.
chips still, right?
Yeah, but I just feel like it's such a weird arc. Like, they're like, oh, Echo's alive. Bye, go hang out with them. like nice introducing us to these fun characters that are different than the clones.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
still clones.
I wonder if Echo would even, like, I don't even know if Echo still has his chip, right? Because of all the shit they did to his brain.
That's true. Wonder.
Don't know. That's
Don't
a
know.
question, I guess, for later. I don't know.
Yes,
I felt I liked the Bad Batch and like the entire group of them because
I
it's
wish they had been
cool.
introduced sooner, though.
Yeah,
Just a
that's how I
bit,
feel.
yeah.
It's just like a random arc that
Because they're cool. It's a
make
cool
any sense.
concept, and I feel like they go, like, they're really interesting in regards to, like, Rex and the other, like, more traditional soldier guys, and, like, again, kind of poking at, like, how individual kind of clones actually be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a bummer that they're only introduced, like, right at the end.
The very last season, yeah. And I'm always salty when Trench is around because I really hate Trench.
Yeah, Trench sucks.
Trench
easily,
is a bitch.
The whole season, this whole series, he could have been Grievous. It's just this other cyborg guy that won't die and he's really cool. And I'm like, why couldn't that have been Grievous? Instead of this stupid spider. I hate him. I have a lot of thoughts on him. I hate him.
How sad are you that Grievous is not in this
It's
season?
so upsetting, Kayla.
They mentioned him
a
once.
second.
I love that Clone Wars was just like, Grievous is a fucking evil himbo. I love it.
I
also love
miss him. I only hear about him
love
off
it.
screen, and I'm like, can I see what he's doing? You're just telling me, but like, show me, please. I'm dying.
Okay, so I like a lot of things about the next arc, but I also have a lot of problems with the next arc. So the next arc, we get Ahsoka, who, you know, has left the Jedi Order. We haven't seen her since season 5. She's like in the underground area, vibing, and her like motorcycle thing crashes in this kind of garage area of these sisters who it's just like, so it's Trace and Rafa. I can't remember. It's Trace is the one that's like, there's like gay tension, right? Trace is the like friend. Rafa's the sister.
Trace is the younger one, yeah.
Okay, so one thing that I dislike about this arc, there's so much gay tension, but nothing happens. I get
Ahsoka
so mad
and
It's
Trace have like hardcore vibes, and just nothing happens.
Trace is gay. You cannot tell me Ahsoka and Trace.
Ahsoka is a bisexual icon, and
you're right.
She and Trace clearly have something there.
Whatever. So that was the one thing I didn't like. The second thing I didn't like, and I think this is a lot of people had problems with Rise of Skywalker doing the same thing, but having like the last name Martez, like having like this like Latino representation kind of, but bringing it back to the whole like spice trade.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. I didn't like that these like Latinx coded characters were criminals.
They're also criminals and drug
Again.
dealers and all that. Yeah.
It's that same fucking criminal with a heart of gold thing, which on the one hand, like, there is an argument to be made that, like, because, like, they talk about the fact that, like, Coruscant is very divided by class, and, like, the Jedi are not heroes to these people, and, like the Jedi cause collateral damage to these people, and therefore, like, and, like, they do make it very clear that Trace and Rafa, especially Trace more than Rafa, are, like, you know, they're just looking out for each other, and they just basically want to survive. And, like, Rafa, like, I don't know. So, like, that story is interesting, and I think there are good parts of it, but it's also, like, I didn't need more, especially because these are, like, the only two, like, blatantly, like, Latinx coded characters in the show, and they're just super fucking stereotypical.
I mean, they did the
really
same
annoying.
fucking thing with Poe in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
Right.
it's fucking annoying.
It really is.
Because, like, again, like, that story could, like, there could be interesting ways to tell that story, but also, I don't need to see that fucking story again.
Right.
Seen it countless times, but yeah, it is annoying.
I do really like Rafa, though.
Yeah.
She's very much my kind of bullshit.
But yeah, the whole story is basically, like, Ahsoka makes friends with this girl Trace and tries to help her like build stuff and do things, and then her sister's like, I got us another score, and you just kind of find out like the older sister Rafa has been like raising Trace her whole life because something happened with the Separatists and the Jedi where their parents were killed, and the Jedi were like didn't help them basically, so they have this grudge against the Jedi, and they just do what they have to do to survive. So it's a lot about like the end arc is there's a spice run attempt,
and it's just a shit show.
It's a shit show. Yeah, they lose the spice, and then
they don't lose the spice.
No,
Trace ejects the spice into space.
My favorite is that Ahsoka is like, I'm trying to play Master and Jedi here and teach you a lesson.
I really, really loved the part where Rafa was like, you told her to do that, and then Ahsoka was like, I didn't think she was gonna do it. It was like, more of like a philosophical thing. Yeah. And then Trace was like, what do you mean it was philosophical? Like,
and they're like messing with the Pikes too, which the Pikes and the Hutts are like the mafia of the Star Wars universe too. So
they're also currently under Darth Maul's control.
Yeah.
Oh, that is true. Yes, that is true. So they get captured and then they escape, and
they get captured and escape like 6 times.
Yeah.
I don't like that episode because of that.
Yeah, I don't like that episode. Like, I like the part where they do the final escape or whatever, but when they're literally back in jail again, like, basically with the exact same scene again, I was like, fuck off.
You start and end the episode the same place, and it's like, this is annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, it's basically, like, this is a really fun arc getting different characters, but the whole point of the arc, I think, is to let us know that, you know, the shit in Mandalore is happening, Maul controls the mafia, and you have Bo-Katan and a couple other of the Death Watch seeing Ahsoka, being like, what is she doing here? And then they meet up to discuss like what's happening, which leads us into the last arc, 4-episode arc. So fucking emotional.
Oh my god. So much happens.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
So it's a lot. So it starts out with this really cool scene with Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting, and Anakin's being a show off, and I'm just like, I like Anakin a lot in this series. Anyway, I keep getting, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. It's so sad. So they go back and they're like, hey, you have somebody who wants to meet with you, and it's Ahsoka and Bo-Katan, and it's the first time they've seen each other since everything went down. So Anakin's like, oh my god, you're coming back, it's gonna be so great. Look at all this, our like clone troopers and like their commanding officers that like go directly to them, like all painted their fucking helmets like Ahsoka, like the symbol, and it's just really cute. And then it's
really cute, but I also was wondering, like, in the world of Star Wars, is that like racist to like paint an alien's like markings on your face?
You know, I didn't think of that.
I didn't either.
I mean, like, Ahsoka's not offended. Like, she clearly thinks it's like a nice thing. But I was just thinking about that. I was like, is that weird?
I mean, I don't know. Is it?
I don't know.
I can see it. Yes, being weird.
I see that being a little problematic, but
in the context of,
I don't know. That's the thing. I was like, she's clearly not offended, so like that's
also,
fine.
You got to think of like.
But I do wonder, like, is that weird?
There's also like 7 different color Grootans. I don't know how to pronounce that right. So like, I don't know. It gets muddled. It might be problematic. So that
I think is less the color even and more like
just
the act.
symbol.
They do like her markings.
Yeah.
Like her white markings. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
No, I see that. So that happens, and then she's like, don't call me commander. I'm not a Jedi. Like, I'm not. And then they triple down on that because Mace Windu, like, talks to her about stuff and, like, leaves stuff out. And he's like, yeah, well, you're not a Jedi, so I can't tell you this. And she's like, all right, fine. Whatever. Like, fine. But basically, Death Watch needs their help, like, ASAP because Maul has taken over Mandalore and they need to capture him and get rid of him. But Obi-Wan and Anakin can't help because they just got notice that Grievous has captured Palpatine, and so they got to go handle that. And so there we have the start of Revenge of the Sith happening in the background, and you're just like,
yeah.
So they take their troop and go to Mandalore, and they get trapped by Maul, and Maul's like, y'all brought the wrong Jedi, bitch. I wanted Obi-Wan, because all he cares about is getting revenge on Obi-Wan. And then he's talking all this shit, and he's like, you know, everything's about to come true. You know, there's gonna be no Jedi or Republic anymore. It's all gonna be one empire. And Ahsoka's like, you're fucking crazy, dude. What are you talking about? And so let's see, Ahsoka and Maul like are talking, and then he like mentions Darth Sidious, and then he escapes. And so then Ahsoka calls into Obi-Wan and is like, what's happening? Like, what's this mean? So he's like, yeah, we think that Sidious has been behind everything. So that's what's happening. And they're like, well, can we find Dooku? Like, what's going to happen there? And he's like, you see, we can't find Dooku because Anakin just killed him. And then you're like, oh my God. Like, it's a lot. I'm getting really excited. I'm sorry. It's like too much, but it's exciting.
Yeah, like honestly, that phone call, whatever. The holo call or whatever with Obi-Wan where he says like, yeah, Anakin killed Dooku. I was like, oh, fuck. Like, can you imagine being Obi-Wan in that position? Like,
yeah.
So Anakin did this.
Yeah. So then Ahsoka goes and confronts Maul again. This time he like gives himself up, like he wants to be captured because he knows what's happening, and he also wants Ahsoka to join him. And this part is so fucking cool because he's like, I know you. He's like, you were betrayed by your masters too. So was I. We were cast aside. There is something bigger than both of us happening right now, and we can join one another, and you could be my apprentice, and we can take over. And it's like, it's the same fucking dialogue that we always get. It's the same fucking dialogue. Darth Vader to Luke, you can join me and be my apprentice, and we can take over the bad people. And
does he say apprentice though? Because I remember distinctly being kind of impressed that he was just like you and I can do this. Like, let's just go fucking do it.
Right. I don't remember if he says apprentice,
because I don't think he does.
Yeah,
because I remember being like that moment where he says like, join with me and we can fucking do this, and Ahsoka's like, yeah, all right.
Well, he says something, and it's like, I need to rewatch the sequels because it sounds like something that Kylo Ren has said. He says, everything that you have, every choice you have made in your life has led you to this moment. And like, I'm like, I feel like Kylo Ren said something like that to Rey.
I lost my shit at that moment because again, I haven't seen the new ones, but I lost my shit at that because I was like, Star Wars, like the people behind Clone Wars truly said all of this could have been avoided.
Yeah.
But it was not. Because like Ahsoka finds out about what happens to Anakin, and she doesn't fucking tell the Jedi because she doesn't fucking trust them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she wants to tell him herself. She wants to talk to him. She's like, I can't.
Yeah, she doesn't trust them to deal with him. She's afraid that they're gonna like kill him or something.
But why would she trust them after what they did?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's so fucked up because she knows. And like, I was talking to Riley about this The one thing I didn't like about this part was, like, so Ahsoka says yes. Ahsoka says, like, yeah, let's go fucking kill Sidious. Mm-hmm. But I have a question for you. What are you gonna do with Anakin? And Maul tells her, like, Anakin is the linchpin to this. Like, Anakin is the next, like, Sith apprentice. Anakin, like, needs to be fucking dealt with. And, like, that makes Ahsoka not want to deal with him. And I was angry because, like, I didn't like the choice of, like, oh, Maul said that, and Ahsoka immediately freaks the fuck out and fights him.
Yeah, I also didn't like that choice. Because I feel like that just, like, echoes everything that went wrong with Anakin, was being attached, not letting go of the things closer to you.
Yeah, well, and, like, what I was talking to Riley about was, like, I feel like I could so much easier see a part where, like, Ahsoka fucking still says yes, but basically just says, like, fuck you, I think you're wrong about him. And, like, obviously they couldn't do that because they were tied to the canon and they only had so many episodes. But, like, it was such a bummer because I was like, no, like, I don't think Ahsoka would have just, like, the fact that Ahsoka says yes to Maul means something. Like, she is beyond the normal realm of, like, the bullshit that everybody else is getting caught up in. So I could so much more see her being like, hey, fuck you, you're wrong, and I'm gonna prove it to you, let's go, than, like, her just being like, hey, you said something bad about Anakin, fuck you. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But
no, I didn't like that either, because it was just such a quick switch. It was like, and maybe they were trying to show that, like, she is, like, a true gray Jedi where she, like, doesn't see the lines of, like, you're good and you're bad, and, like, there's this, like, overall arch, and, like, yes, I will help the bad guy to help the bigger bad guy, but also, like, that's my friend and I have to make choices, and I don't know if that's what they were trying to do. It felt very flip-floppy, and I didn't like it.
Yeah, they didn't execute it well, because, like, I feel like real Ahsoka energy is still helping Maul and believing in Anakin.
Like, being able to do both. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, or not even being able to, but, like, trying to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, they start fighting, and this is probably the coolest fucking fight that the Clone Wars has to offer. Fun fact, if y'all two didn't know this, or if the internet doesn't know this, who's listening and watching, but they had, what's his name? His name's Ray
Park.
Yes, Ray Park, the actual actor, Darth Maul, do, like, the green, like, mocap. Like, shit. It was the first time they've ever done this, because they usually just animate everything, and he had the actual shit and did it. So everything you see happening with Darth Maul in that room with Ahsoka was actually acted out by him, by
cool.
That's
Darth
wild.
Maul. Yeah, so that's really cool. It's such a cool fight. And Maul, towards the end, almost does fall to his death, but then Ahsoka saves him and is like, you're coming with us, and captures him. So he's like freaking out, and he's like, y'all are all gonna die soon because you're capturing me. I could fix this, but y'all won't believe me. And they're like, yuck, you crazy. So the next episode, Shattered. Talk about shattered my heart.
Oh,
that's
I know.
what happened. So they, like, parallel did this really cool scene, and somebody did it. I found it on Twitter, but somebody made an actual parallel of Revenge of the Sith and the Clone Wars. But it starts out with Ahsoka on the ship. Well, it starts out with her telling Bo-Katan bye. Like, you know, maybe we'll see each other again, and, like, it doesn't have to be this way, and hopefully shit gets better, you know, whatever. And maybe they will, because they are both cast in Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'm gonna fucking watch that shit.
Right. So she's on the ship. Maul is in this, like, Mandalore captured thing where he, like, cannot move.
It's like the last one from Jedi hunting, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's very important, I think. I think it's important. Because there was, like, a whole war with the Jedi and Mandalorians back in the day or something.
Yeah, they make a point of it, too. Like, Ahsoka, like, points out, like, hey, aren't you not supposed to have these anymore? And Bo-Katan's like, this is the last one.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
It's fine, yeah.
So, so she's on the ship with Rex, and she gets a little call from Mace Windu. not Kit Fisto. It's the other one that I never remember his name.
Plo Koon?
Kiadi-Mundi?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I never remember. I just remember he's got the cone head.
Oh, is he the tall head man?
Tall head man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And I think Yoda's there too. And then it's the other, the blue, not Togrutan. What's
the Twi'lek?
Twi'lek? Yes.
Ayla.
Ayla, thank you.
Yeah.
And it's
Twi'lek
so
is
crazy
sexy.
because when you watch Revenge of the Sith, when this happens, you see the scene with them two, like they're turned on them and everything with Order 66. So they're talking to him and it's the exact
That scene
same
always
dialogue.
makes me cry.
I know. But it's the exact same dialogue from the movie where Mace Windu's like, I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi. And they're like, well, what's going on? What are we going to do? And he's like, we're going to confront Palpatine now, or Chancellor Palpatine now. We're going to go do this now. So Ahsoka and Rex are chatting and they're like going off into hyperspeed and Rex walks away. They're supposed to have a meeting with the Chancellor or something. And all of a sudden, Ahsoka is like getting all these fucking feelings and she can hear everything. And they use the lines from the movie. They don't even make the new characters read lines. They use the lines of him being like, what is he fucking? It's Hayden Christensen. And he's like, you can't kill him. He needs to be brought to justice. And then and then he's like,
I need him.
Yeah, and
it's so uncomfortable because they use the fucking audio from the movie, and he doesn't sound like Anakin from the show.
No, right? He doesn't.
No, they're different people.
Completely different.
It's fine, like, for all the rest of it, because there's, like, you're not, like, you're not watching the prequels and then, like, watching Clone Wars at the same time, so you don't notice how fucking different it is. Because it's, like, it's close enough, but, like, when you hear the actual audio over it, you're like, that's not Anakin.
That's not
Anakin.
Yeah.
Which sucks, because it is Anakin.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, and you hear like unlimited power. And you hear
you just like hear the scene where Mace Windu dies, and you're like, Ahsoka's like, what the fuck? And I too am like, what the fuck?
I just like really it when you hear Hayden Christensen being like, I pledge my allegiance to you, and it's just like, God fucking damn it. And she's like about to pass out, and then all of a sudden you hear Rex. He gets the call from Sidious, and he's like, execute Order 66, and he's like, okay. And this part
is like, shit, fuck,
fucking sad. This part is so sad because Ahsoka just wants to go tell her friend Rex. She's like, hey, something's wrong with Anakin. Like, you're my buddy. Let's go figure it out. And then they turn their guns on her, and then he's shaking. You see him shaking, and he's like...
He's trying so hard to not do it.
He's like, I'm going to do it. Y'all don't have to do it. I'll do it. He turns around. Before he shoots at her, he says, find fives. And then you're just like, fives.
And he's crying. He's shaking. He doesn't want to shoot her.
He's crying. She's crying. I'm crying.
I have chills. It's so sad. It's so sad because you know the bond that Rex has, and it's just like, and the fact that he's even like, find fives. Like, Fives warned me about this, and I remember it.
And it's so sad because it's like, it's connected to the shit from the last season with Fives.
Right.
And then like, it's again the people thing because it's like Ahsoka views Rex as a person and who's like someone who's her friend and someone who she wants to turn to in this hour of their mutual friend being in danger. And he wants to be a person and like he cares about her and doesn't want to do this thing, but like ultimately the show says the clones are not people. As long as they have this chip in them, they cannot be people. And which ultimately Ahsoka does go on to like find out about the chips and she gets Rex's out. Which thank God, because I was like, if Ahsoka has to kill Rex, I'm quitting. I know. I'm quitting the show.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I knew that Rex didn't die because he does pop up in Rebels, but I was just like, how the fuck are they gonna do this? But they do get him out. They get the chip out of him, and it's really, it's like the episode ends too where like all the other clones are shooting at Ahsoka, and Ahsoka's like, I can't get them all, and the droids are trying to close the door, and then all of a sudden Rex is there and he shoots, and then she's like, what is like how big is this? And he's like, it's all of us.
It's all of us.
It's all of us. And then
Chills,
you're just
dude.
Like the line, that line is fucking chilling when Rex is like, it's all of us.
Oh,
Also, shout out to the cute little droid squad that helps them.
I know, they're adorable.
What little fucking buds.
Yeah.
I love them.
It's really sad when they just kill him off one by one in the last episode.
Yeah, they shoot him all in the face.
Yeah, come on.
Stop.
But they do escape, at least.
Yeah.
But that whole thing is like, God, that's such a like intense thing when like Rex and Ahsoka are trying to get the fuck off the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's just like all of the fucking clones that are on the ship with them.
Yeah.
And like, I truly was like, Ahsoka's gonna die. Like,
Yeah.
Right. Like, how
because like I knew that she does it because again, Mandalorian shit. But I was like, how the fuck are they gonna like do this?
Yeah.
And they do.
Yeah.
I don't even like the droids die. That's how they do it.
Yeah. I mean, like,
Well-
Rex, like, pretends like he's still under the influence. He's
So-
like, hey, she's not a real
Yeah.
Jedi, right? So, like, hey, let's just keep her
And then
prisoner.
they release Maul, which is really dope because Maul's like,
That's true.
I just love that scene where Ahsoka
Oh,
releases
yeah.
Maul and she's like, did you do this? And he's like, no, but I tried to warn you. Like, you know who did this. Like, your
Yeah.
buddy, your pal. He's helping out and all this stuff. And he goes, at least give me one of your lightsabers or a blaster. He says something like that, and she's like, I'm not on your side, dude. Like, no.
No, like my favorite
Fuck
thing is
off.
she shows up and he's like, okay, dope, let's do it. And she's like, I'm not here to team up with you, bro. Like, I just need a distraction.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, fine. So then he's like, can you at least give me a fighting chance? And he like eyes emojis her lightsabers, and she's like, I'm not rooting for you.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
I hope you don't live through this. Like,
Oh, God.
But that kind of
Yeah.
does like screw them over because so they have this whole thing like Chloe said, he's like, she's not a Jedi, so we can't kill her, trying to like trick the clones, and then the clones are like, nah. And they're trying to
she's
get
on the list.
Yeah. They're trying to get to the one ship, and of course Maul gets the ship. But so
Which, when that happened, I was like, fair, though. Like,
Right.
she
So
told
he
him to
escaped,
fucking... She, one, told him to go buck wild. Two, said that she didn't want to be on his team. So,
yeah.
Right. So, like,
I
okay.
get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think this is like the saddest part to me. The saddest part to me was the fact that yes, we get this really sad scene at the end with like the buried clones and stuff, but seeing all of these clones, all of these people wearing their Ahsoka helmets,
Yeah.
like
trying
Yeah.
to kill her.
trying to kill her and Rex, like they're trying to kill all of them because they don't have free will anymore.
Right.
They are now just droids, basically. They have to do what they're told, and yes, they've always had to do what they're told, but they've had some sense of like they've shown the like what happens to the clone that started that family. Like, did he lose his free will? Like, you got to think about all those
probably.
clones.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
So it's really fucking, it makes me so sad to see them like fighting and like they won't give up. They're like, they can't get away, to the point where they're like, we're gonna crash this ship and you're gonna go down with us. Like, we're all gonna die. And it's just like, holy shit. And then everybody does die except for Ahsoka and Rex, and they bury all the troopers and put their helmets on spikes,
on
and it's like
guns
a
and-
Yeah.
proper memorial. And I think that's like the perfect and like ending to this series, because it's like, yes, the series was about like adding on to the prequels, and it was about like introducing really badass characters, but it was about the clones, and it was about their journey, and it was about how we just like used them to get what we wanted, you know?
The Clone Wars is absolutely about like the evils of like bureaucracy and like government stagnation, which again is why I say it's very relevant now. And like it does such a good job of showing that with the clones, because they're people who don't get to be people. And with the droids, and like with all of it, and with Anakin, and like the last scene where like the ship crash site with all of the helmets is like really fucking chilling.
Oh yeah.
Especially because, it's on a snow planet. But it's been a while. But then too, like, there's that last scene where like Darth Vader shows up on that planet, like, after it's been a while. Like, it's alluded to that Rex and Ahsoka, after they bury the clones, they dip into the fucking wild blue yonder or whatever.
Yeah.
But then Anakin shows up after some period of time. It's been a while because he finds Ahsoka's lightsabers buried in the snow, and he just like looks up at the sky, and you can almost see his face through his mask, and it's just like fucking raw.
Yeah, and you can see the reflection of the clone troopers' helmets in his his black mask with the eyes.
And it's like, and you have to wonder, like, does he think that I think he knows that she lived, but
no, I think he totally thinks she's dead.
I think he knows, but
I think
it's
that
hard.
he thinks that she's dead only because there's a line in Rebels where he's like, "Oh, the apprentice lives," and like she like freaks out when she finds out that Vader is Anakin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any Clone Wars or Rebels stuff yet, but like just the way, I don't know, like just because Anakin is so force sensitive and him like looking from the lightsabers to like looking up into the sky, I kind of took that as like he knows kind of thing.
As like almost like if, because yes, he's Sith, but I think he still feels emotions. I took that as like he lost Padme, he lost Obi-Wan, he lost everyone, and like Ahsoka was like a sister to him, and like there was maybe a little hope, and like just seeing like all of the helmets of his troop and finding her lightsabers, I think was like the last like his last tie of emotion to anybody, because he can see it. He sees the lightsaber and he knows that she's gone. He perceives that she's gone, and it was him being like, okay.
Yeah, see, and I kind of read it as like, and I mean, again, I think you can
either way.
The Rebels, I think, obviously changes that, but I think like just in that moment, like it could be anything, and that's really fucking powerful too.
Yeah. So sad.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. And then like the last shot is the reflection of Vader walking away in the Ahsoka clone helmet that's like all cracked and old, and it's like, oh god.
Yeah.
Can't.
And this shit is why I think that the prequels are better.
Yeah.
Because it's more interesting. Look at all this political shit that got set up.
Yeah.
I don't know jack shit about the political system of the OG trilogy, because they're like an empire, behold, and that's it.
To be fair, I agree with you that the prequels are better and they set up more. But to be fair, when they made the first movie, they had no fucking idea what they were doing. They were like cutting budgets. They were just like, this is gonna be one cool ass sci-fi movie with lightsabers and a princess and like bad guys.
No, I get it. I totally like, it's exactly what it's trying to be, and I totally get that.
Yeah.
But that's why I don't like it, because like what it's trying to be is fucking boring for me personally.
Right.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Tell me what y'all's favorite arc or episode is.
I think gotta be the Mandalore. The salts,
siege.
the shit, everything. Yeah. Just the last 4.
Mine was is it multiple episodes where Rex and Ahsoka are on the ship trying to fucking...
it's like the
last
last 2.
episode is like mainly that, like them trying to escape.
Yeah. Just like that, all that shit was so tense, and I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It was just like, it was wild to see like a war movie that's a horror movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like they never, but like it has like horror movie vibes. Like it has like slasher and like alien vibes to it, just from the fact of like them being hunted like this. And it's just like so hopeless and fucked. And also like the stuff with Maul is very good.
Yeah.
Her just being like, I hope you die, fucker. Like, I'm not gonna kill you, but I'm not gonna help you live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think the Phantom Apprentice is my favorite episode, just because, well, one, I didn't know what was gonna happen, and I just saw that the title was the Phantom Apprentice, and I was like, oh my god, Ahsoka is gonna go to the dark side. Like, I don't know, I just had this, I was like, she's gonna team up with him, and then they had that scene And then they have the whole lightsaber fight. So it's cool. It's a great episode. So that's mine. What about our MVP and dumb bitches?
MVP is definitely Ahsoka.
It's gotta be, yeah.
Because she gets the chip. She does brain surgery on a man while being attacked and then lives.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think who the dumb bitch is. It might be Rafa a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. My MVP is Rex because, Clone Wars, just sad, love him. And I think my dumb bitch is Maul. And I do think Maul is super badass in this whole thing, but I just, that one scene where he's like, give me a fighting chance, and she's like, fuck no. Like,
fuck you.
I loved it. He ends up being the MVP, and they end up being the dumb bitch because he gets away, so.
Yeah, I love that. True. I will say, too, I feel like this season really solidified for me the fact that, like, I do really like the Maul arc in Clone Wars. It's just frustrating because I think the Savage stuff kind of blurs it.
Yeah.
And then, too, I think it doesn't help that he is, like, a big character who simultaneously had no characterization before this. So it did kind of feel like, ooh, look, like, we're fan surveys. Even though, like, I think his arc is really cool and interesting, and I really like the backdrop of, like, Darth Maul saying, fuck the Sith and the Jedi, I'm gonna be a mafioso, but also his past, like, doesn't ever let him go, and he ends up still being a part of all this shit. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Before Chloe answers with her MVP, I just think it's funny. I was watching a whole bunch of YouTube videos of, like, Star Wars shit last night. I was in a loophole, just, like, stuck, and somebody mentioned they were like, why do you think that Maul is such a, like, beloved villain when he has 3 fucking lines? It's because, yeah, he looks badass, he moves badass, he does his own stunts. The real reason is because George Lucas only gave him 3 fucking lines, so people liked him because he was, like, went on this whole tyrant, like, this whole thing about George Lucas and the prequels, and I was like, all right, I gotta go. But I just thought that was funny. I was like, fair.
It's the mystery of it all. Oh my gosh. No, my MVP it's gotta be Ahsoka. I can't imagine. Her, Rex, yeah, you're both right. God. Yeah. And the fact that they went through the wreckage of the ship and found all of the clone bodies to bury.
And gave them a proper burial.
Oh my god, it breaks my heart. Jesus. Dumb bitch. Anakin's always the dumb bitch. This is where he goes full stupid.
Yeah,
the dark side.
Dumb bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I just think about that one scene where he's like, you turned her against me. You did that yourself. Just that whole scene is great.
It's also so fucking heartbreaking, like, when he sees Ahsoka again and he gives her the lightsabers that he made for her that are better, and he's like, I got these for you because you need them. And I was like,
I hate, like, every time he just, like, have a conversation, he's like, hey, so what have you been up to? She's like, no, we don't have time for that, we'll talk later.
Yeah, like, you don't have later. It was so sad. Like, nothing, like, that trope fucks me up so much of, like the one person so clearly wanting to talk and the other person's like, oh no, we don't have time, it's okay, we'll do it later, and then
there's never
there's no time, there's no later. It's, oh god, I hate it. I'm so sad.
I have a question for y'all.
Yeah.
And I don't know if y'all will be able to answer this or not. So we know that Ahsoka lives because she's in Rebels and cast in The Mandalorian, but we did hear her voice in the Rise of Skywalker stuff happening. Do y'all think in the time of Rise of Skywalker that she's dead, or do you think that was just, like, the Force, like, speaking for her? What do you think?
I think she's still alive. I like to believe it, at least.
Because, like, if she is dead, I would like them to, like, give us more.
How long after all that shit is the Rise of Skywalker?
I would probably say, like, 30, 40 years. Let me see.
It's like, yeah,
because I haven't seen any of those, so I actually don't know what you're referring to.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Oh, I don't give a shit. I already know, like, the main. I know how that movie ends.
Mm-hmm.
How much time has passed between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens? 30 years after.
Okay.
She could still be on.
Yeah, I don't know shit about shit, so I hope she's still alive. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
But I don't know anything about it, so it's kind of hard for me to guess.
Chloe, have you watched Rebels?
Yes, and I'm trying to... Because that takes place right before New Hope, right?
Yes.
Leading right up to it. Okay.
It's pretty parallel to Rogue One, right?
I think it is, yeah. And I know there's a scene, like, at the end where we see, like, Ahsoka older. I think she's... I don't remember the timeline, but I think she's okay. She should still be alive by Rise of Skywalker if she's just older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just ask because I started watching it. I am on season 2, and I really feel like Caitlin would enjoy the series because I think they do a really good job of, one, having really awesome creative characters that are like all different, and like, two, they make a really good family arc where like Star Wars suffers from that. Obviously, we talk about all the time, like, fuck them kids, and like the parents are always dead and stuff.
No.
And like that, the theme of like parents dying and stuff does, spoiler alert, like, it's there, but there is still like a family. It feels very much like when you have groups of like bounty hunters like hanging out, like kind of like the tabletop read that we did. You know, it's like a group of a whole bunch of people doing good shit, and then you do have a lot
family
of
can be 4 idiots trying to do something.
Exactly. So I feel like you should watch it, and I think you would love it.
I am planning on watching it.
Good.
Between you and Riley and Chris, I'm planning on watching it.
It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of returning characters are in the series, and it's colorful. It's fun. I feel like it just adds a lot more color that Clone Wars is missing, but maybe that's for a reason, right? Clone Wars is supposed to be really sad, and like,
and it's a war story.
That's true.
Clone Wars is the only good war story.
Yeah,
actually,
it's true.
Yeah. You're
it's
right.
True. Clone Wars better than every war movie.
Anything else that we have to talk about the last season of Clone Wars?
I like Ahsoka's jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's wearing like a nice denim jumpsuit. She looks good.
I like everything Ahsoka does.
That's also true.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty fucked up after this. I'm pretty upset. On one hand, just because it's actually, like, I'm just genuinely attached to shit, and it makes me sad, and it's, like, a very good tragedy, but also, too, it could have been so cool if they didn't have to deal with all of the canon shit.
I know. Yeah. Could have been.
Star Wars could have been cool.
Could have been.
Needed more Grievous. Needed more Grievous.
It needed way more Grievous. Are you kidding me? I had a single second, and I was like, oh, they didn't make a whole new model just to see him. That's it, right? We'll see him again. No.
I just wish that they would have had, like, you know, they're like, oh, Anakin killed Dooku, and they had the other scene. Like, if they would have had some type of, like, flashback with Obi-Wan, and it'd be like, General Kenobi. You know, just like, I would have loved something.
Just flash back to, like, him kidnapping Palpatine, because the last time we saw that in the 2003 Clone Wars, that's, like, being decanonized or whatever. I'm like, let me see that in the new style, but no, it's fine.
Yeah, like I said before, they ended this series beautifully. I think they did a really good job.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So Clone Wars is canon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
The only thing that's not canon are, like, a lot of the comics that were released before Disney bought.
Well, isn't it like the books too?
Yeah,
and
the
then
books,
like
the comics,
like the Force Unleashed
games.
isn't.
Yeah.
Because that's plugging for Uppercut. I wrote a thing about this with the Clone Wars and Force Unleashed, and I think it's bullshit that Force Unleashed isn't canon anymore.
Yeah.
Because the connection between that and Clone Wars fucking slaps.
Right.
So.
That's a good piece. I read it. I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Give me Star Wars, Disney.
Just give us more Star Wars, please.
I'll do it better, I promise.
Yes.
All right. I guess this is our last plug. Chloe, I'll start with you.
Okay.
Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Echochlo, and I also stream on Twitch. Same username, Echochlo.
Caitlin, where can people find you?
Find me at CEG and 8 R's.
And you can find me on Twitter at OA Kayla. Me and Caitlin both stream on Twitch over at Uppercut Crit. And you could find us on Twitter at Uppercut Crit. We have a lot of really cool pieces. We look at media and games stuff through a critical lens. We have a bunch of women and non-binary people on our staff. Most of us are gay as fuck. It's really great.
There's one straight person on staff.
Yeah. It's a great place. So if you found us somehow by stumbling through YouTube, thanks for watching, and check some of our other content out. And on that note, really sad to say this is the last episode of Clone Wars review series with my pals, and we'll catch you on the internet. Bye.
Bye.